Hello, my dear students, and welcome in a new episode for the second year secondary students in our program. Of course, this is the English subject. أهلا بكم أعزائي الطلبة في حلقة جديدة من برنامجنا وحلقة جديدة من حلقات اللغة الإنجليزية. طبعا الحلقة دي مخصصة لطلبة الصف الثاني الثانوي، ويلا بينا نبدأ بسرعة. We're going to discuss Unit 1, Lesson 1. It's going to be, of course, it talks about the healthy lifestyle and different things related to keeping yourself healthy. So let's start and check what's in today's episode. Here, as you see, those are the learning objectives of today. Let's discuss them together. This is what we're going to do today. ده اللي هنعمله النهارده. By the end of this lesson, the students will be able to identify some vocabulary in different contexts. هنتعلم شوية vocabulary. Skim a text in a poster for general information about performing first aid. هنحاول كده نقرا يعني text, read it quickly to know some general information, معلومات عامة كده أو سريعة عن how to perform first aid. Scan a text for specific information about first aid. هنقرا برضو lesson أو text معين to know some detailed information, معلومات أكتر عن الفيرست ايد او طبعا الفيرست ايد هنقرا عنها حاجات كتيره دلوقتي. And let's start. So how to perform first aid. As you see the pictures, those are the pictures that refer to the first aid. هي دي البيكتشرز اللي بتريفير لي الاسعافات الاوليه. First aid اللي هي الاسعافات الاوليه. So we're gonna read a poster. هنقرا كده poster. البوستر ده بيتكلم عن الفيرست ايد and it gives us 7 tips. 7 tips about the first aid. 7 من الادفايس او التيبس about the first aid. So we will start, but before we start, I want you to put those questions in your mind. نحط الأسئلة دي في ذهننا. While we're reading, you need to find the answers of those questions. What does the poster tell us about helping people? The poster that we're going to read. What does it tell us about helping people? Okay? بيقول لنا إيه عن مساعدة الناس. And what I want you to do is to try to answer the questions, whether in one of the comments, if you're watching us or watching the episode, you can write down some comments. ممكن تقدروا تكتبوا comments. Or maybe you can write down the answers in your note that is specified for the English language. لو في عندك note خصصها للإنجليش and try to answer those questions. If you're writing any comments, I'm going to see them myself. أنا هشوف comments and I'm going to say my replies about them. So the first question again, what does the poster tell us about helping people? And the second question, of course, we need 3 different things. And the second question is, how can CPR help someone? How can CPR help someone? And later today, we're going to know what do we mean by the word CPR. CPR is a short form of, يا ترى كلمة CPR دي اختصار لإيه؟ I want you to think, and if you know the answer already, or you can search it in Google and find it, you can write it in the comments or keep it in your notes. تكتبوها لو انتوا عرفتوا اجابتها. What does the word or the acronym CPR stand for? تقدروا تكتبوا what is the C for, what is the P for, what is the R for. Okay? I'm waiting for your answers. Let's start. The first one, how to perform first aid. How to perform first aid. This is what's the poster totally about. Number 1, if you find an ill or injured person, you must check the area around him or her. First, to make sure it isn't dangerous. Then, move closer to the person and look carefully at them. Okay, it starts with a situation. بتبدأ كده بموقف. If you find an ill or injured person, sick person, or injured. Injured, maybe he's wounded for a reason. حد عنده جرح أو حد مريض. If I find a person like this, لو أنا لقيت حد زي كده, you must check the area around them. لازم تعملوا check للarea, the place the person is in. check كده الarea وتشوفوا المكان يا ترى في إيه. You must check the area around him or her first to make sure it isn't dangerous. الأول عشان تتأكد make sure be certain that the area is not dangerous. إن المنطقة مش خطيرة. You probably get hurt yourself. You can harm yourself if you didn't check this area or increase the harm of the injured person. So take care. Then move closer to the person and look carefully at them. You need to move closer. هنتحرك أقرب للشخص and look carefully at them. Do they seem to be very ill? يا ترى كده they seem to be very ill. What does the word seem to mean? Seem to means here look like. Do they look like being ill? يا ترى شكلهم كده عيانين فعلا. Do they have severe injuries? Do they have severe injuries? عندهم جروح شديدة. Okay, severe injuries. So it's too harmful. It's too much of an injury. So we call it severe injury. Okay? Then what we need to do is number 2. There is another tip which is number 2. If the person is awake but not bleeding, you have to ask them how they feel and what happened. If the person is awake, معنى كلمة awake, we know it of course. It comes from the verb wake up. So when I say the person is awake, it means the adjective describing the person. Okay? متيقظ. But not bleeding. Bleeding. When you have a cut, there is some bleeding that may goes out. يبقى bleeding ده اللي هو النزيف. Okay? So if the person is awake but not bleeding, you have to ask them how they feel and what happened. Okay? Then you need to ask the person. زي البيكتشر دي بيسألوا إيه اللي حصل. Okay? How do you feel and so on. Check their body for signs of injury. Check their body for signs of injury. لازم نعمل check على البody for signs of injury. Okay? So an injury is a wound أو جرح. Signs of injury يعني العلامات اللي بتدل إن في جرح. Or infection. Infection. What does the word infection mean? Infection means that maybe you got a virus or this person got a virus or something like this. Okay? يعني عدوى. You don't have to touch the person's body to do this. You don't have to touch the person's body to do this. As we're working together along with the words or the sum of the words in the text, I want you to check the structure. Have to, must, need to, don't have to, doesn't have to, mustn't, and so on. Okay? So he says here, you don't have to touch the person's body to do this. أنت مش مضطر. You don't have to. Okay. Number 3. What's tip number 3? Let's go and check it. If the person doesn't reply, oh, the person now is lying and he or she doesn't reply, then what should I do? Touch their shoulder, okay? Touch their shoulder or their foot and shout to see if they react. Touch their shoulder. What are the shoulders? They are up there. الشولدرز اللي هي الكتف بتاعنا. Okay? So touch their shoulders or their foot والأقدام بتاعتهم and shout to see if they react. Shout to see if they react. يبقى هنزعق كده جامد علشان نشوف how would they react. React, what does the word react mean? React means to give a response. Okay? So I'm going to shout. What's going to be your reaction? What's your response? هتعمل ايه؟ هترد ازاي؟ Okay? So هنشوف هو في رد فعل أو لا. And remember to check for normal breathing. Remember to check, okay, نعمل check for normal breathing. Normal breathing. What does the word normal breathing mean? Breathing is inhale and exhale. Okay? اللي هو التنفس. So normal breathing means that they breathe normally with no problem. Okay? So as you see here, we have those different tips. This is number 3. Let's go to the 4th one. And remember to check the answers of the questions I told you about. And at the same time, I want you to select the best advice or the best tip that you like from all of the 7. Okay? Choose only one. Now, number 4. If the person isn't breathing, oh, now the person isn't breathing. Someone must call the emergency services immediately. Okay? If the person isn't breathing, لو الشخص ما بيتنفسش, what should I do at that time? Someone must call the emergency services immediately. في حد لازم must call يتصل emergency services. What is the emergency services? As you see here in the picture, we have a picture for the emergency services. I call the emergency services to give me or to send me an ambulance. بتصل بيهم عشان يبعتولي ambulance أو الإسعاف. Okay? Immediately means instantly, at the moment, يعني في أسرع وقت أو في الحال. Okay? This is tip number 4. Let's go to tip number 5 and see. If you know how to perform CPR, did any one of you recognize what does the word or the acronym CPR stand for? حد فيكم بقى قدر يعرف لنا كلمة CPR دي اختصار لإيه؟ Okay. C is for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So we have those 3 words. I said it once, I'm not going to repeat it again. If you still don't know it, go and search. قلتها مرة, you can go and search by yourself and write it down in the comments وتكتبوها في comments. Okay? هتلاقوها sure. You can depend on yourself and search in Google for more word definitions and those stuff. تقدروا ان انتوا تعرفوا معاني الكلمات من جوجل. اعتمدوا على نفسكم, هتلاقوا you can do a lot. تقدروا تعملوا حاجات كتيرة قوي. You have to do this to help the person start breathing again. You have to with the infinitive refers to what? It's necessity, حاجة ضرورية. You have to do this to help the person start breathing again. لازم تعمل ده علشان تساعد الشخص إن هو يبدأ يتنفس تاني. Okay? Start breathing again. So we have the word breathe and breath. Breathe ends with E, بتنتهي بالإي, and breath without E. Breathe is the noun, breathe is the verb, and breath is the noun. Okay? And when we add ing to the word breathe, we remove the E and put the ing. بنشيل الإي, زي ما احنا عارفين الverb, we can add ing to any verb. So I remove the E, أشيل الإي وأحط ing, then I change the verb to be sometimes a noun, okay? Or the gerund form, which is a noun. So I say breathing, اللي هو التنفس برضه, okay? However, D like but, okay? So when I say the word however, I want to say but. However, you mustn't do CPR unless the person is lying on their back on a flat surface, okay? So you mustn't do CPR, then it's something serious not to do, okay? When I say mustn't, it means that it's prohibited. So it's serious not to do it. What I shouldn't do or what I mustn't do is not to perform or do CPR unless the person is lying on their back. We have the word CPR with 2 verbs so far. عندنا كلمة CPR ظهرت لنا ب2 verbs جم معاها. Okay? One is perform, the other one is do, and both of them are together given the same meaning when they combine together with the word CPR. So I can say do CPR, I can say perform CPR, and both of them are correct. أقدر أقولها بالطريقتين, الاتنين صح. Okay? So I can't do or perform the CPR unless the person is lying on their back. لازم يكون الشخص نايم على ظهره on a flat surface, على flat surface, على سطح flat. ما يكونش سطح متعرج, لازم يكون flat مسطح ما فيهوش أي حاجات متعرجة. Such as the floor, like for example the floor, الأرضية بتاعت البلاط والحاجات دي. Okay, so this is the 5th tip talking or started to introduce CPR for us. Let's see more information about it. How can we perform it? How can we do it? نعمله ازاي? Sorry. place your hand on the center of the person's chest. دلوقتي هنبتدي بقى نطبقه فعليا. As you see in the picture, this mentor or teacher is teaching the kids or the boys how to perform CPR. So you need to put or place your hand on the center. Why did I highlight the word place here? We usually or commonly use the word place as a noun. مكان، بنقول مكان. لكن today in this poster we're gonna know or learn that the word place can be used as a verb. نقدر ان احنا نستخدم كلمة place كفعل. معقولة؟ Yes, what's the problem? So the word place is a verb here and it gives the meaning of the word put. يضع. Okay? Place your hand on the center يعني حط ايديك على السنتر of the person's chest على منطقة الصدر بتاعت الشخص. زي like what they do here in the picture أو زي ما هم بيعملوا في الصورة. Okay? Of course the word chest means المنطقة بتاعت الصدر بتاع البني آدم. Put your other hand on top of the first hand. الإيد التانية you're gonna put it on top of. ما قاليش in top of, لا on عليها. On top of the first hand. Okay? And lock your fingers together. يبقى احنا هنحط الإيدين فوق بعضيهم and lock your fingers together. The word lock, it's like locking the door or your locker. Okay? معناه يقفل حاجة. فهنا you lock your fingers. هتقفل صوابعك. Okay? Together على بعضهم كده. Like in the picture. Make sure that your shoulders are above your hand. Shoulders بتاعتنا لازم تبقى above our hand. يعني أمد الشولدرز بتاعتي to be on the same level of the hand above it. Okay? So this is the way you perform CPR. And the 7th tip says, you don't have to press down the person's chest very much. You don't have to. Don't have to معناها إيه؟ إن أنا المفروض أعمل ولا مش أعمل ولا إيه بالظبط معنى you don't have to press down. يعني أنت مش مضطر. Okay? It's not a necessity. دي مش اضطرار. You don't have to press down. Press down means to push down. يعني إن أنا أضغط جامد the person's chest very much. ما أضغطش على الchest بتاع البرسون جدا. Only 5 to 6 centimeters. بس 7 or 5 or 6 5 ل 6 centimeters. Keep your hands on their chest. Keep it on their chest. It means put the hand and stay there. Okay? Or let your hand be there for some time. Keep your hands on their chest and allow it to rise up again. So you go down and then allow your hand to rise up. Go down and rise up and so on. You have to do this 100 to 120 times. You have to do it 120 times or 100 times. So have to do it, it means it's necessary. Okay? In order to get good reaction or a good response from the person's body, then you have to do it 100 to 120 times. A minute. Each minute, يعني كل دقيقة. Okay? So when I say a minute, it means per minute or each minute. So the word here is referring to the word or gives the same meaning here in this context to the word per or to the word per, of course, or to the word each minute. Okay? So you have to do this 100 to 120 times a minute until the person starts breathing again. So I don't stop until the person starts breathing again. Okay? So keep doing this till the person starts breathing. افضل اعمل كده لحد ما الشخص يبدأ يتنفس مرة أخرى. Okay, that was the 7th tip. دي كانت النصيحة السبعة. We're done with all of the tips now. احنا كده خلصنا كل التيبس. Okay, those were in a poster related together about performing first aid. Okay, now I want you to think. Let's read this. Out of the previously discussed poster, what do you think is the most important advice? Okay, so we have 7 different pieces of advice. I want you to tell me, out of those pieces of advice, What is the most important one? مين أكتر واحدة فيهم كانت مهمة؟ Of course, it's up to you. دي حاجة ترجع لكم. You can select the one that you like, but when you select it, you need to write down the advice or summarize the advice and write it in a comment. ممكن نكتبها باختصار في comment, okay? وبرضو I'm gonna go and check all of these comments عشان أشوف مين الطلبة الشاطرين المتميزين that they are interacting with us very much often. Okay? الطلبة اللي بيتفاعلوا معانا كتير علشان هتلاقوني إن شاء الله برد عليكم. Okay, so this is what we need to do after this reading part or reading the poster. Now we need to check vocabulary. So we have some words here that are highlighted. So I want to check those words, okay? And let's see what we can do, okay? So match the words with their definitions. We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, okay? The first word is infection. The second word is perform. The third word is react. The fourth is severe. And the fifth is technique, okay? So we've discussed those words in the text, but again, I want you to remind me with the meanings. What do we mean by the word infection? Can you remember? Please write it down if you remember it. Perform. What does the word perform mean? Can you tell me? Is it equal in the meaning to another word I mentioned during my explanation? أنا قلت لكم كلمة perform دي شبه كلمة إيه وأنا بشرح لكم؟ أقول perform CPR, or I may say إيه مع CPR. طيب react. What does the word react mean? Severe. What does the word severe mean? Okay, it was in the very beginning for tip number 1, I think. Technique. What does it mean? Let's read those different definitions and do the matching, okay, to check. Number 1, this word means the same as do an action, okay? This word means the same as do an action. Do an action. Which word here from the list means do an action? Of course, it's the word perform, okay? It's the word perform. Perform is like do. So I can say perform CPR, okay? I can say do CPR. I can use them both in another context. I can use them away from the word CPR. ممكن أقول something like I do some activities, okay? Or I perform some activities, okay? There's no problem, okay? Number 2, a disease caused by a virus or bacteria. A disease caused by a virus or bacteria. So what do we call this kind of disease that is caused by a virus or bacteria? Like, for example, COVID-19. It's a disease that is caused by a virus, okay? We call it coronavirus or COVID-19. So what do we call those types of diseases? كل بقى الأمراض دي اللي بتبقى سببها فيروس أو بكتيريا, we call it infection, okay? So the answer is infection. Infection is the noun. We can say infect. Infect is the verb, okay? So we end it with T and remove I-O-N. Then in this case, it's infect. Infect, okay? So infection, infect, and of course infected, it's the past and past participle and so on. Do something because something else has been done. Do something because something else has been done, okay? So something has been done and then I should do something towards it. It's like one person did something, then I reply to this person, whether verbally or with my hands, whatever, okay? Facial expressions. So what do we call this? It's my reaction, okay? So when I do something as a response or a reply to another one, then I call it react, react, okay? Number 4, this word describes an illness. This word describes an illness or injury that is very serious Okay, so when I have an injury or an illness, I describe this injury or illness by being very serious. في بعض الانجريز أو الجروح بتكون خطيرة. Okay, so what should I say? How can I describe the injury? By telling to the people it's very serious. We can use the word severe. Severe. Okay, so we say a severe illness or a severe injury. We have the word injury as a noun, and we have also the word injured. Okay, he's injured. This is an adjective. So injury is a noun, injured is an adjective, and we have the word injure with E at the end. This is the verb. Okay, so we can also conjugate the verb by saying injure, injured, injured. اللي هو third conjugation with second and first تصريف في الفعل نفسه. So we have the word injure as a verb. We have the word injury as a noun. We can use the word injured that ends with D as an adjective. Okay, so I say he's an injured person. شخص متعور، شخص مجروح. Okay, أو مصاب. I can describe the injury. أقدر إن أنا بقى أوصف الانجري أو الجرح بإنه هو severe. So I say severe injury. Okay? So adjectives describe nouns. Number 5, a way of doing something with a skill. A way of doing something with a skill. What does this mean? A way of doing something but with a skill. Okay? So of course, this is a technique. Technique means way. You have your own way of doing things. You have your own strategy of doing things. So we say it technique. Okay? Those are some important vocabulary or some important words in today's lesson or in the poster highlighted in your books, and that's why we checked it together. Now let's go and check together the vocabulary in sentences similar to the way of the questions in the test. تعالوا كده نشوف التست. طبعا بيجيب لنا question اللي هو choose, so we need to do the practice on similar questions. لازم نعمل practice على أسئلة مشابهة زي اللي بتيجي في التست أو الامتحان. Okay, let's start by the first one. And remember, you have to reply to me. لازم تردوا عليا. Whether you're going to write it in your notebook, تردوا بإن انتوا تكتبوا الإجابة في النوتبوك. You can shout it out loud. تقدروا إن انتوا تقولوا الرد بصوت عالي. Or you can write it in a comment. تقدروا تردوا في comment أو في تعليقات لو انتوا بتتفرجوا. Okay? So the first one is advertising companies use a number of to attract our attention. Advertising companies use a number of what? A number of space to attract our attention. Techniques, CPR, infections, injuries. What do you think is the correct word here? Advertising companies, what do we mean by advertising companies? شركات الإعلانات. Okay? Use a number of what? A number of ways, of course, a number of methods to attract our attention. So what is the word here that is the synonym of ways or method, or the same, gives the same meaning? It's of course the word technique. Okay, so advertising companies use a number of techniques to attract our attention. Okay, now let's move to the next one. He has been unable to space his duties since the accident. He has been unable to space his duties since the accident. Okay, so he has been unable to what? Urge, hesitate, perform, or make. He has been unable, which is the opposite of able. So we added the prefix un to make or to give the opposite meaning. Okay, so here he means he wasn't able to or he couldn't. He has been unable to space his duties since the accident. Okay, so we have the word duties. What do I do with the duties? Do I urge them, hesitate them, perform them, or make them. Of course, I do my duties. What is the word here that is similar in the meaning to the word do? الشاطرين بقى اللي متابعين أكيد عرفوا طبعا for sure. طالما ان انتوا تابعتوا من الأول, of course it's the word perform. Okay? I remind you, you need to write down the answers. حاولوا كده تشوفوا تكتبوا الإجابات علشان نشوفها ونشوف مين أكتر حد قدر يحقق إجابات سليمة. Okay? And we will encourage you, of course. He has been unable to perform his duties since the accident. Urge, of course, means يعني يشجع. We don't urge our duties. Hesitate حد متردد أو حاجة مترددة. And make doesn't replace do or perform. Make يعني يصنع الحاجة. I don't make the duties, I do them. مش أنا اللي بصنع الواجبات, أنا بعملها. Okay, so there is a big difference between using make and using do or perform. Okay? Okay. So, next, the firefighters spaced quickly when they heard the alarm. The firefighters, مين هم الفirefighters? People who extinguish fire. Okay? People أو الناس اللي هي بتطفي الحريق. يبقى firefighters quickly when they heard the alarm. عملوا إيه أول ما سمعوا الألارم؟ Pulled, infected, destroyed, reacted. What do you think? هم أكيد عملوا response معين. They didn't pull, they didn't infect, ما عدوش حد, ما سحبوش حد أو حاجة. They didn't destroy, ما دمروش. They reacted. Reacted, of course, it means you give a response or you give a reaction. So firefighters reacted quickly, يعني عملوا رد فعل سريع when they heard the alarm. This was our last question. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. We quickly had a quick look at the vocabulary and read the poster to try to get some information. I'm waiting for your answers. هنتظر الإجابات بتاعتكم. And I hope this episode was useful to you. Thank you very much, and please stay happy and goodbye.